I know that God is in this place because we are here. We are everywhere. And knowing the presence and the power of one enlivens us, fills us with love. It is the great reality. And this is who we are. And I know we are balanced by the sound of the heart bowl, and that we are brought to attention and clarity with the sounds of the bells, and that all is well, all is God. And no matter what conditions may look like around us, the truth is that the divine dwells within and is always present, and that we are that presence. We are the one. And I know that is true for everyone here and everyone everywhere that is ready to awaken, that is ready to know the truth. So in the blessing of all that, we simply allow it to be in gratitude and love. And so it is. Thank you, Margot. Good morning, everyone. We're delighted that a small group of us are here so that we can create this recording and send it out into the world. Thank you, everyone who is watching this online. We are delighted that you're with us. We can feel your presence, even though you're not watching yet as we're making this recording. But all is well and all is in perfect order. So we want to begin with just a couple of important bits of information so that you know what's happening around here. We begin with my class. We have a class that has been ongoing on Monday nights, and because of what's happening in the world, we're going to change our format and do that class online. It will still be happening on Monday night, this coming Monday night at 7 o'clock, and we'll be doing it via Zoom. And if you're not familiar with Zoom, Zoom is a wonderful program that allows you to interface and interact with people online in a live format. And if you would like to be a part of that, you can go to our website, cslasheville.org. It says com, but it's .org. Because I made this slide, and download the Zoom link. You don't actually have to download Zoom into your computer to be able to get on the call. All you have to do is go to that link and come onto the call, and we'll talk on the call about how to adjust audio and video to make it work for everybody. But you're all welcome to come and be a part of that class on Monday night. The other activity that's happening is our Wednesday evening celebration, and this current one is this week will be the incredible power of sound, facilitated by practitioner Jen Oman. And it too will be Zoom, and so if you're interested in the link, again, from our website or from our Facebook page, either place will have the link where you can use it to get on, and that will be on Wednesday, April Fool's Day, at 7 o'clock. It's 7 o'clock, and I guess we need to start talking about which time zone we're in. We are in Eastern time zone for both of those events. So I have some words here from Jen. She wants you to know that the purpose of this incredible power of sound class is to harness the amazing power of sound vibration to increase our health and happiness. Besides being a practitioner, Jen is also a musician. She plays, 20 or more instruments and studied harp therapy in California recently. She loves to share this information with others, and everyone's welcome. So thank you very much for that. And we are aware. And from that point, we come into our treatment for freedom. So I invite those in the room with me today. And if you want to do it at home, follow along as we do our treatment for freedom, which we do every Sunday morning. I speak my word for myself, my center, and all its members and friends. I know love as the only reality. I am created out of love. Love is what I am. I know this love as absolute freedom in every area of my life, the life of my center, and all who call it home. I claim for all of us financial freedom with all debts paid and cleared. I release any sense of struggle or wrongdoing. I live in an abundant universe where there is more than enough for all. We experience freedom in every moment by always having more than enough money, vibrant health, and loving relationships. We are who we have come here to be. With hearts open wide, we see the world through the eyes of love. We are blessed, we are rich, and we are free. And so it is. Guess what? We get to hear from Barbara. Here it goes.
And we can change our lives because we have support here. We have amazing practitioners that will sit with us on Thursdays. I'm always floored at how those practitioner office hours are empty. There's a sign-up sheet on the Welcome Center. You can have a practitioner for a whole hour on Thursdays. We have practitioners that will treat for us up in the front of the room, but will also spend time with us and delve deeper into some of the blocks we may still have or some of the processes that we are involved in our healing and growing. Some people think that Science of Mind is just about focusing on prosperity, creating money, and turning away from the condition and putting a happy face on the big pile of you-know-what, and that everything gets better. But really, there's a process of this healing that we do, that we can do with each other better than we can by ourselves. And in that, it seems to make life on planet Earth easier. We left the old, life is a struggle, we're being tested, and if we fail that test, we're going to have eternal hellfire and damnation. We left that censor behind. We left that behind. We've moved into a philosophy that says all is well. That the universe is supporting our every thought, our every desire, that we have a power and a presence within us that will answer every question, is the solution to every problem, and carry us over any obstacle that seems to be in our way. And granted, there is the part of treat and move your feet with that. But life is not supposed to be a struggle. And life is not supposed to be hard. We win no spiritual brownie points by suffering in this lifetime. What we do is we open up to the gifts that have already been given. The gift of life, the blessings that come from that we are connected with all that is, that we always know what to do whenever we need to do it. We're always in our perfect and right place, doing exactly what we need to do at the moment that we need to do it. We are blessed beyond our wildest dreams. We are loved beyond our wildest dreams. Those are already a given. And how we fine-tune the manifestation process in our life is completely up to us. But that doesn't discount the basic tenets of spiritual living in this life. I love this Science of Mind teaching. And I love the Science of Mind textbook. I have like 12 of them. The one I actually teach out of is covered with packing tape because it is falling apart. But before Ernest even gets into the thing itself, what it is, the way it works, and how to use it, before he gets into any of the meat and bones of Science of Mind, he gives us this poem. It is the welcome to this teaching and the life that is promised us. It's called Peace Be Unto Thee, Stranger. Peace be unto thee, stranger. Enter and be not afraid. I have left the gate open, and thou art welcome to my home. There is room in my house for all. I have swept the hearth and lighted the fire. The room is warm and cheerful, and you will find comfort and rest within. The table is laid, and the fruits of life are spread before thee. The wine is here also. It sparkles in the light. I have set a chair for you where the sunbeams dance through the shade. Sit and rest and refresh your soul. Eat of the fruit and drink the wine. All is yours, and you are welcome. When we come into this teaching, the initial promise is that all has been given, not by an outside power deciding if we're worthy of that or not, but it is just the essence of life itself that has already given us the fruits of life because we are alive, that has already set a space for us where we belong, where we are safe, where we are loved, that we don't have to prove ourselves, we don't have to turn into someone that we're not. We can simply open and accept the amazing experiences of this life. And I think that being in spiritual community helps us. I think that as we gather together, as we share our ups and downs, as we move through this experience together, that it's easier on us than sitting at home listening to a tape or reading a book or wishing we had somebody to talk to. I don't know how many people have made friends in this community. I know people have fallen in love in the kitchen and gotten married. I know that there have been children that have had lifelong friendships forged in this center. And I know that we have something special that we can share with each other. And it's important that we do that. This teaching tells us that we are one with all that is. We are connected to all that is. I am you and you are me. And that as I open my spirit eyes to that, I see God all around me. And that there is something very special within us. We're not just one of 7.5 billion. We are the point of energy of the creative force of all of life showing up as us. Troward says, my mind is a center of divine operation. I say God showed up as us, with our face, with our life, with our thoughts, with our deeds. God shows up as us. But whatever it is, it's not a thing. It's not solid. It's not the space part of time and space. Whatever it is the Godding of us, the spiriting of us, the living of life as us. And it is constantly moving. We are constantly vibrating. That's why we are beings of light, because we come from the light, and we are the light. It is our job to be the light. We are beings of love. We come from the love. We are the love. It is our job to be the love. And as we move through this life, not attached to all of the physical form of it all, but really getting that we are freaking amazing. We are spiritual beings alive and well on planet Earth, creating our lives in love and joy, in happiness, in prosperity and health and wholeness. That's our job. Our job is to enjoy our lives. Our job is to sit at the table where the fruits of life have been set before us, to enjoy the sunlight, to enjoy the fire, and to take of those fruits. Not to go out and plow the fields, not to go out, farmers, I'm not talking to you as a metaphor, not to go out and earn by the sweat of our brow, but to open up to the amazing experience of this life. And I think that one of the best things that we get to do is to do it together, so that in the high times, we've got people to jump up and down with. And in the times when things are not as easy, we've got someone to put their arms around us and to say, I know that you've got this. I know that things are going to be okay. I know that God is in the midst of it. And so it is.
Thank you, Barbara. I could listen to you all day, but we'll keep going. Let's do our March affirmation together aloud. As the wave is to the ocean, I am to spirit. As the wind is to the sky, I am to spirit. As the dawn is to the day, I am to spirit. As the song is to the singer, I am to spirit. As the rose is to beauty, I am to spirit. As the open heart is to love, I am to spirit. Spirit is in me, and I am in spirit. Spirit is me, and I am spirit. And so it is. Beautiful. Thank you. So what we're going to do now is a guided meditation. So I invite all of you to relax into this. And you can begin by closing your eyes. I invite you to sit up in your chair as straight as you can, have your back, and still be comfortable. Place your feet on the floor beneath your body and settle into your seat. Let your words float over you like a gentle ocean wave. Allow your hands to rest gently, either in your lap or by your side. And take a slow, deep breath, a full breath, as you begin to relax your body and release any tension that is evident to you right now. We'll begin at the crown of your head. Imagine a bright light emanating from the crown of your head up into the sky above you, connecting you with the heavens above. Relax your scalp and your forehead and all the muscles there beneath your skin. Relax and release any tension in your eyebrows or at the point of your third eye. Relax all the muscles around your eyes. Feel them releasing all the tension from the corneas on the surface of your eyes, all the way back to your optic nerves. Allow this area to relax and release. Relax your mouth, your cheeks, your jaw, and your chin. Letting go of any of the tightness that you find there. Relax your neck, front to back, all the way around. Allowing your head to find that perfect, effortless balance atop your spinal cord. Now relax your shoulders, allowing any stiffness to release and gently wash away. Gently allow the sweet, relaxing energy to flow down your left arm, from your upper arm to your elbow, your forearm, and all the way down to your wrist, and into your hand, and into each finger, one at a time. Now bring your attention to your right arm, gently allowing this one to release as well. Beginning with your upper arm, your elbow, your forearm, and all the way to your wrist, your right hand, and to each finger, one at a time. Feel any rigidity release and flow out of the tips of your fingers, one by one, on both your hands. Let that energy fall away from your body, leaving your arms and your wrists and your hands and fingers totally relaxed. Focus again on your shoulders, and this time move your attention to your upper back. Again, releasing anything that doesn't belong there. Now move to your middle back. Allowing it all to just wash away, leaving only peace and relaxation. And now to your lower back. Falling away into the nothingness. Relax all the muscles that connect to your back and to your spinal column. Feel them releasing. And still you have perfect balance. There is nothing for those muscles to do now except to let go. Be aware of your rib cage. Observe the rise and fall of each breath as your precious lungs draw in fresh air from around your body and then release the air that you no longer need. Feel the air moving in and out with each breath. So perfect. Now be aware of your heart as it beats rhythmically in your chest. Let a wave of relaxation flow down through your chest. More and more with each breath. And be aware of your abdomen and all those internal organs, all the way down to your pelvis. Each organ doing their work, keeping your body vibrantly healthy. And now relaxing into this moment. Allow your bottom and your hamstrings to soften against your chair, as though you were sitting on air, as though you were floating in air. Relax your left leg, starting at your thigh and your femur bone, your knee, moving down into your calf, be aware of your shin, and allow it to relax. Relax all the way down to your ankle and to your left foot, and on down into your left toes, relaxing them one by one. Now moving back up to your hip on the right side, begin to relax your hip and your thigh, your femur, your knee, your calf, and your shin. Then become aware of your ankle and allow it to relax. And your foot, all the way out to your right toes, relaxing them one at a time. Now be aware how your whole body has relaxed, from the bottoms of your feet to the crown of your head. Total relaxation. Right now there is nothing to do. There is nowhere to go. Just to be the perfect spirit being that you are. In your mind's eye, see yourself as pure consciousness. Notice that it takes no effort to be conscious, no effort to be aware of your perfection. You simply are. Now embody a sense of comfort and peace that surrounds your body and fills it up. From this place, there is no need to change anything. There is nothing to fix, nothing to accomplish. All you have to do is simply be. For you are the presence of the divine, perfect, infinite, right now. Rest in this sacred and effortless knowing. When you are ready, allow your focus to go to your inner space, that space that exists beyond your body, the place within your consciousness where you are always well, always perfect, always divine. Whatever thoughts or feelings arise, allow them to come and go gently. Be aware of the ocean of loving consciousness that fills you and surrounds you. Feel it as it ebbs and flows within and all around you. The pulsing of divine energy as life itself. Let go and allow this energy to carry you forward in your life. See yourself as the loving presence you are, the presence you have always been, the presence you will always be, now and forever. Rest there, allowing your spirit to revive itself as this eternal love consumes you. Now I invite you to be aware of the gravitational connection you have to this earth and to all the powerful energy that flows beneath you. Now I invite you very consciously to draw that energy up from the earth into your body, allowing it to fill you from the bottoms of your feet, moving up with this celestial power and a greater knowing of your own divine nature. Allow it to lighten you. Allow it to gently fill you with God energy. You are the presence of pure spirit, alive and well right here and right now. Wherever you choose to go and whatever you choose to do, this is what carries you forward. Your life is God's life. Now gently become aware of your body again, this beautiful miracle of life that carries you through your everyday. Become aware again of your breath, right at the tip of your nose as you inhale and exhale. Very gently and intentionally, I invite you to begin moving a finger or a toe. And with your eyes still closed, when you're ready, bring your hands together in front of your body, palms touching. Observe the sensation of each palm as it touches the other in perfect union. And when you're ready, rub your hands together, up and down briskly, against one another, creating friction and warmth in your hands. Let that friction build for a moment. And when you're ready, place your hands over your closed eyes and feel the warmth as it penetrates into your eyes. Move your hands to your ears and then to the back of your neck, again feeling the warmth that you've generated. Now bring your hands together in front of your chest, palms together in prayer position. And when you're ready, take a deep, long breath. And as you gently exhale, open your eyes. Namaste.
This is the fullness of life. This is the allness of peace, love, wisdom. All of this fullness, all of this energy present in all, as all. It is the seen and the unseen, the animate and the inanimate, in each and every breath. This moment is sacred. Every moment is holy. And this is the truth of who I am. I am this light. I am this life. I am love, loving. I am spirit in form. I am energy and delight. This is who we are. This is life itself. And I know the peace of all life is right where we are. It is in every single moment. It is in all that we do. This peace, this clarity, this joy is in this body, in this wholeness of this body, in the health and the flexibility and the joy that is this body. This body, these bodies, this life, energy moving, joyously expressing, divinely guided. I know the abundance of life is right where we are. I know the abundance of life is right in this moment, in this fullness of this moment, the abundance of money, the abundance of joy, the abundance of love. This abundance is springtime. This abundance is fullness, security. It is financial security. It is joy. This abundance is right where we are in this present moment. This health and this wholeness and this financial abundance and this clarity of what is ours to do. Our purpose is right here. Our purpose is in all that we are and all that we do. Our purpose is clear. This moment is clear. And our relationships, our loving relationships, all of our relationships are this loving relationship. We are in this together, joyously together. All that we are is in every single conversation, every single smile. It is in the Skype calls. It is in the phone calls. It is in the social distancing. It is all right here. It is all right now. I am so very grateful for this prayer. I am so very grateful for this center, for this knowing, for this love, for this peace. And I simply let this go into all that is, knowing it is already done as I have spoken, because that's how it works. And so it is.
Thank you, April Connor. That was beautiful. Thank you, Margaret McGeorge, for playing the harp bowl. So here we are, and I'm doing a series on the coronavirus because what else do we talk about, right? Until this thing is resolved. Right now, it's the thing on everybody's mind every day, and we're going to begin with the title of my talk, which would help if I turn this thing on. There it goes. Well, maybe not. Let's try that. There we go. Knowledge is power. This is a phrase that was coined by a famous British or English statesman named Sir Francis Bacon, a philosopher. And I absolutely agree with him. But you got to look at the word knowledge for a second and get a sense of what that means. Knowledge is the attainment of information. Knowledge informs our actions. When we act in a way that we take full use of the knowledge we have in an effective and meaningful way, it becomes wisdom. But we're going to deal at the level of knowledge right now, and you'll have to decide how you want to use it. So that's what we're going to look at today is what information is it that we need to make this thing work in our lives in the world right now? Things are different. They're not the same. We can't rely on what we've always done before right now. The hysterica and panic and fear that's going on in the world is the antithesis of power. It's disempowering. So our work is to turn that around and make sure that even in the midst of all that's going on around us, that we're clear and that we are using the information that we have in an effective way. That's our work for all of us every day. It doesn't matter who you're talking to or what's going on. This is what we're looking at right now. So this is where we're going to go. We're going to look at knowledge as power. And I want to begin by just giving you some general information that is up to date as of when we are making this recording. And some dates are involved. We're going to look at what's happening with the coronavirus. And I don't know why this isn't working. I think perhaps I don't have batteries in this. So I'll have to do without it. So here what you're looking at are, as of March 26th, what's going on with COVID-19. There have been, and these are U.S. numbers from the Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta, Georgia. Those of you that are watching this from other parts of the world, we're being American-centric in this, but these are the numbers that we are actually dealing with right now. We have over 68,000 infections. We have over 17,700 people that have been hospitalized. We have over 1,000 as of this research, 1,050, and we have one child that has died. So that's where the COVID-19 virus is over the last few weeks since it showed up in the United States. This is influenza during this same season. As of March 14, which are the most current numbers from the CDC, we have over 17 million flu infections. We have over 290 people that have been hospitalized with influenza. We've had over 23,000 people die, and we've had a number which is actually rare, that there have been 149 children die from the flu this season. And these are current numbers. As of our recording here, the United States population, just to give you a comparison, is a little bit over 331 million people. So if you start looking at how those numbers apply, you got to ask, why is the freak out so great when the numbers don't even look like much against the flu numbers? Why is it that's it? Well, there's some very logical reasons. One is that we don't know COVID-19. It's new. And because our bodies have never experienced this particular virus, we're all highly susceptible to it. So the infection rates are very, very high. But nobody's trying to stop us from being around the flu. They do tell us, please, to get a flu vaccine, but they also explain that there's a good chance that the flu viruses have modified themselves in a way that the flu vaccine won't do much to help you. But that's pretty much what we've got right now. So that's the numbers that we're looking at. I'm going to speak from a lot of information that I've gotten from one of my spiritual heroes, Dr. Bruce Lipton. He is a cellular biologist. He's worked at several major university hospitals in doing research on human cells and how they function. He's written many, many books and is a fantastic speaker. I love the man. I've known him for about 30 years. And I want to start by explaining to you how he has influenced my life. It didn't start with the coronavirus. I met him over 30 years ago, and he presented an idea that I'd never heard for the time at that point that I had been in metaphysics, something that brought some real structure to the idea of how we are spiritual beings and what our relationship as spirit beings are with our bodies. So that's what I want to share with you. On the next slide, that's a picture of a human nerve cell. Pretty elegant looking, isn't it? Looks like it's lit up like Christmas tree lights. Let me tell you about how Bruce Lipton explains the work of the human cell. He says that it is covered, every cell is covered with what are called silica. And within it, it has a nucleus. The nucleus is the area that keeps all of the DNA information about recreating the cell. It's got those strands of DNA, and with that information, the cell can replicate itself. That's what goes on in the nucleus. The intelligence of the cell, however, is not in the nucleus, which is what scientists and doctors have thought for generations. What Lipton's work shows, and if you would go to the next slide, is that the silica on the surface of the membrane actually is the intelligence point in the cell. And this is a picture of it. And you see these big purple things. That's actually a dye that was used to point all of that out. But the silica is actually that outer layer. And it is a series of tiny little antennae. Little places where the cell connects with its environment. And when something comes up against that cell, and the cell recognizes it, it takes that information into it, and on the surface, on the membrane of the cell, it knows whether that's food or nourishment or if it's poison. It knows right away. And if it's poison, those larger purple tubes there actually close down, not letting that into the cell. Now, that doesn't always work. And one place where it doesn't work is if it's never experienced it before. Then it'll let it in, which creates the problem with the COVID-19 virus because it doesn't recognize it. But when he explained this, he also explained that these little silica on the surface, these little crystalline antennae, actually do something else other than connect with the immediate environment. They actually have the ability to receive information that comes at a frequency that is specifically attuned to that cell and every cell in the body that it's a part of, or the organism that it's a part of. And what he extrapolates from that understanding is that the information in your body that is your thinking comes through a frequency that only your body receives. It's like a radio station, and it's tuned to a specific radio station that is just for you. That being so, somewhere, or maybe nowhere, you and I exist. And we have the ability through this mechanism to speak to every cell in our body. Now, interestingly, there are more of these crystalline antennae in the pituitary gland than anywhere else in the body. But they are in every cell. So when you have a thought, every cell in your body gets the message. It's not just that it's going on in your brain. When you think about speaking, usually we think it's going on in our brain. But actually, it's going on in every cell in our body. This is why it is so incredibly important that we communicate with our body in ways that support its health. So freaking out, having panic attacks, being afraid, works exactly the opposite. Now, the playing of the pituitary gland, as I understand it, is that reinforces this information that's coming into your body through your entire nervous system, so that your whole body gets it, not only directly at a frequency, but it also gets it from your pituitary gland, which is in your brain, which tells your entire body something's going on. What's going on still remains up to you. So using this understanding, I had a whole new way of seeing what my job is as a spiritual being and what my relationship to my body is. I'm not here. My body's here. I'm, like I said, maybe somewhere else, maybe nowhere else. But I exist and have thought, and it impacts my body. And this is really relative to what we're talking about with the coronavirus. This really makes a difference. So we move on to our next slide, and we look at what Lipton says about the virus itself. He says a virus is the equivalent of a computer flash drive with downloaded gene programs. When receptors on the viral membrane connect with receptors, the silica that I was telling you about, on the target cell, the virus downloads its memory, which then hijacks control of the infected cell. That's what's going on. That's what's happening. So the way that your cell is getting information through a frequency about what you're thinking, it's getting information. A single cell is getting information from a virus that has attacked it by connecting at those receptor points. And that changes what that cell can do. That's part of the problem that we're dealing with here. And that's why it's so dangerous. If your body knew what that cell was, you would have a resistance to that viral attack. But this particular cellular structure of the COVID virus, we don't know it. Our body doesn't know it. So when someone gets infected, that's why they have that challenge. Now, for most people, that's not that crazy, and they can work through it. So we have to continue to know that this thing is evolving in a way that's going to support us. The coronavirus being new is the biggest challenge with infection. But it's not the only thing that's going on with it. Obviously, what we're discovering is that healthy people don't have a problem if they contract the virus. Their body does at some point know that this is some unwanted thing, and it shuts it down. So what people that are healthy in their bodies, and apparently age has some factor in all of this, and we'll show some numbers on that in a minute, but those factors of having other health issues and being over a certain age seems to have an impact on how your body reacts to this. Younger people tend, now this isn't absolute, but I'm going to show you the numbers in a second. Younger people actually do have a better chance of fighting this thing off. Their bodies do. People that are older are more challenged with that. Beyond Lipton's understanding of this, we move on to the next slide, which shows us some history of these kinds of viruses that have been going on just in the last 20 years. You've got on this list, these are the mortality rates. That means the percentage of people who got the virus that died from the virus. And you can see some of them are a little crazy. In 2003, we had the SARS virus that was quite robust in its attack on human beings, and 10% of the people that got it did die. The swine flu in 2009, not a lot of deaths from that. Wasn't comfortable, but it was truly a flu. Everybody recognized that it was a flu, and that it was 2/100ths of a percentage point of those that contracted the swine flu actually died. In 2012, we had MERS, which is the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome. 3.5% died from that. Actually, that's pretty high. And then the Ebola. Remember the Ebola scare in 2014? That began in Africa, and there was an attempt to limit it to the continent of Africa, which wasn't successful. But the only Western country that received any, or that had any contraction of the Ebola virus was in the United States. 39% of people who got the virus died. Now, how many people died? Well, there were about 26,000 people that contracted that virus. And as it says, about 40% of them died. So it was quite, and that's why, if you'll remember, there was such an uproar about keeping this out of the rest of the world. And somehow we were able to do that. But that hasn't been the case with the coronavirus. Again, with the coronavirus, depending on where you are in the world, the mortality rate is between 1% and 4%. Still, not massive numbers, not like the Great Plague of the 1800s where 50 million people died. It doesn't look like we're looking at that with this at all. Yet, at some levels, that's the way we're handling it as a society with our fears. So moving beyond that, we have another look at this idea of a curve. Remember how they're talking? No, I'm sorry. These are death rates in the United States specifically. That we're going to go there first, and then we'll go to the curve. This shows you how age seems to have relevance with the people that actually get the virus. As you can see, and that first number, even though these are relatively new numbers, there was a young person, not a lot of information about who that was or where they were, but there is a young person that did die from the COVID-19 this week. So that would change that 0.0. But the rest of them are remaining pretty much the same. A very small percentage of people who get it from up into their mid-40s, even into their mid-50s. Not a lot of those people have passed. But you start moving above 65 and you start having that number increase to where people over 85, more than 10% of them right now are expiring from from being inflicted or infected with this virus. Those are important numbers, and it really points out how important it is that we take care of our elders during this time and not allow in any way any of them to be exposed to this virus. Okay, the next one talks about the curve. Now, these are the curves of all the main places where the virus has had an impact in the world. And this is from Johns Hopkins, and it is really new information. It may not be accurate as of the day you're watching this, but it's not that old. So you'll see that China is the kind of reddish line that has the number 79,251. It's pretty much topped out its curve. The last few days, there haven't been hardly any infections in China, according to the information they're giving the CDC and the World Health Organization. So that curve has pretty much topped and should be going down as more and more people come out of the experience of having the virus. Then you can see that the other one that everyone keeps talking about is Italy. That's the 74,386. It's still going up. It hasn't completed yet. And part of this, and if you'll see this, the way this chart is designed, it's even though they're all lined up together, it's the beginning of this curve starts at day 1, when the first infection is noted in a country, and this is through the first 40 days. Okay? So that's what we're looking at with all of these numbers. The number that is on the black line is the United States. And as you can see, it's got a great spike to it. It hasn't begun at all to curve. So that's what all the health officials are concerned about, is that we haven't really, even with everybody being at home, we haven't cut this growth of infections the way everybody wants it to. So there's going to be some more time. And there's not going to be a lot of movement until that curve starts to show itself and allows us to see that everything that we've done is taking form. So it's not so much about the new infections, it's about how we're going to get people out of this, and then we'll really start seeing the curve to come. Okay, what do we have after that? So what I want you to know is that we're not going to go to this very quickly, just leave that screen up. I want to talk about the basic information that everyone will want to have knowledge of how this works. And so I'm drawing some of this again from Bruce Lipton. Here's some conclusions for you to understand about where we are with this virus. Over 80% of the infections experience mild or moderate flu-like symptoms, and that takes about 2 weeks. The people, that 80% are people who are not elders and who do not have any kind of respiratory or other afflictions that would exacerbate this getting the virus. The remaining 20% will have more severe symptoms and may need medical attention, but for most, these symptoms can be relieved with proper treatment. And the more they learn about this, the better they're going to do at helping prevent people from dying. The biggest problem facing the public in this pandemic is not the rate of mortality. It is the overwhelming stress on doctors and nurses and medical systems that are not prepared to deal with the numbers that are potentially happening with this. The COVID-19 epidemic will not go on and on. This is not a forever thing. It will work itself out, although we're seeing pretty logically now that it may be back next flu season, because Lipton says this is a flu bug. This is a virus that is much like the other viruses that cause flus and colds. It's just new in its structure and your body doesn't recognize it. Now, by next flu season, chances are we're all going to line up and get a vaccine against this thing. So that's really going to help. You're still going to have people that won't do that. You're still going to have people that get infected. What they're finding now, as it's warming up here, it's getting colder in the southern hemisphere, and in the southern hemisphere, it's starting to show up. See, no virus likes the body temperature of the human body. That's why they tend to stay in our lungs, is because they're getting that fresh air, and when it's winter, you're breathing in cold air, and the virus likes that. But as it warms up, it becomes intolerable for the virus to continue to survive. And because of that, when it warms up, it tends to go away. But they're saying that it will likely come back, and that it may again modify itself. It may take on some different characteristics. So there's going to be a lot of people doing a lot of work after this particular run is over to help not have to go through this ever again. We'll see. But those that have gotten the virus are really, we think, at least what they're speculating is that those people will have a level of immunity from this at least for a time. And we'll see how that works out. But their bodies have already recognized that virus. They know they didn't like it, and their bodies know that they got to do something about it. So that's what's happening with that. So let's talk about best practices and what we can do with that. I think we've got 5 of them here. So I want to cover each of these gently. Maintain a healthy lifestyle. This is really important. Healthy people don't struggle with this. So don't stop doing things that keep you healthy. If you exercise, exercise. Even if you can't go to a gym or yoga studio, do something. Take walks in the park. Do something that's going to keep your body active and keep your immune system strong. Take large doses of vitamin C, according to Bruce. Do things as normally as you can, and back away. This is his advice: back away from your computer and from your television set, and get out and move around. Now, obviously, we're blessed here in Asheville because we have a lot of space to do that. People who live in big cities are really struggling with that, and we can hold them in our thoughts, knowing that they find a way to do that as well. I know that many people who have been incarcerated around the world exercise in their cells. So it's not like you can't do something in your house. Do something to keep your body active and vital. That's number one. Number two is recognize that if you're healthy and under 65 and you contract the virus, you're likely to have only mild symptoms. Now, that's not an absolute, but it's a really good possibility that that's exactly what would happen to people under 65. Number three is follow government guidelines. Yes, as much as I don't like following everything the government says, I'm getting better. I'm getting better at it. I'm keeping my distance. I'm not hugging all these people that I love. We actually have 10 people in the room right now, so obviously that's working, that we're following that. Do what the government says, even if it seems intolerable. That will change soon enough, and we'll be able to get back to some level of normalcy. Although, as I said last week, don't expect things to ever be the same. Things are changing, and they will change again. That's number three. Number four is make every effort to de-stress. This is really important because, as I explained last week, and as Bruce Lipton explains over and over again, when we stress, our immune system suffers. It tends to charge down, and now we're more susceptible to getting sick, to not just the COVID-19, but to the flu and to colds and to hay fever and to all the other things that we would normally put up with. So it's really important not to think as soon as you sneeze or you cough that you've been infected and to panic. It's important to stay calm, to stay clear, and to let your body tell you what's going on. And if you've got a fever and a sore throat and a cough and you're sneezing, yes, it's time to go to one of the health facilities where you can get tested. But right now, the most important thing is to not freak out and to not stress. And then finally, remember who you are. Remember who you are. That's why we come to this place. It's why we connect with these teachings, to remember who we are. And when we know who we are filled with an awareness of the presence of the divine, and our lives work. This is the best thing we can do. And to bring that thought forward, I have some words from Ernest Holmes. Somebody recently gifted me with yet another copy of The Science of Mind, one I've never seen before. So when I opened it up, I immediately opened it to another poem at the beginning of this book, which is a rewrite of the 1926 textbook. This poem is called Yourself. So take this in. O weary heart, laden with earth's weight and care, O feet stumbling on the way, bleeding and bare, O arms outstretched and hands upheld in prayer, O back, which so oft has felt the lash and rod, O soul, which cries aloud for the living God, O life, struggling to free itself from the clod, know this, there is no power from without. Yourself must answer every fear and meet every doubt with some divine indwelling power, which you yourself upon yourself shall shower, and give take, and taking give, unto that life which you yourself shall live. And the next place I turned in this book was to bodily perfection. So listen to Ernest's words on this. Come to me and I will heal you. The inner power of life within me is God, and I can heal anything. I will to heal and help all who come to me. I know that the realization of life and love within me heals all who come into its presence. I love the thought that I silently bless all who enter my atmosphere. It is not I, but the one who dwelleth within me that does these good works. I heal all who come near me. So I invite you to be a healer. God within me is mighty to heal. I am healed of all my distress and cured of all that would limit me. God within is now healing me of all infirmities, sicknesses, and pain, and is bringing comfort to my soul. God is my life. I cannot be sick. I hear the voice of truth telling me to arise and walk, for I am healed. I am healed. So with these words, I invite you to be healed, to be whole, and to live your life full and complete in every way, no matter what the conditions around you may look like. Set down any fear, open your heart, know the truth of who you are, and live the life you've come to live. And when you do, this thing will be over really quick, and we'll get to do new things. I love you very much. Thank you. Thank you. So, all those wonderful folks that usually show up on Sunday and support this center financially are not able to be here right now. Hopefully, you're watching at home. Hopefully, you're watching on your computer or device, and that you've been touched by this, that it somehow helps you in dealing with what we're dealing with here. So because of that, we make this request that you go to our website. If you're on it right now, that's great. If you're on our YouTube channel, to go to cslasheville.org and bring a gift to this center. We do everything that we do by the generosity of those that support us, who learn from us, who are members of our community or friends of our community, and we do what we can do. And even though we're not doing that right here, right now, I do want to invite you to join me in what we do in receiving the gifts that come to our center with a treatment and then an affirmation that we'll say together. So if you would, close your eyes, no matter where you are and what you're looking at right now. Close your eyes and be with me. Listen to my voice and know the truth as I know it. That there is one power and one present that dwells in, through, and as all things. It is right where we are. And it doesn't matter where that is. It is who we are. And it doesn't matter what we think. We are still the divine operating through this physical experience. And everything in this physical experience is the creation of the divine. So in this moment of sharing and being generous with this Center for Spiritual Living Asheville, I know that each one who is intending to do that is blessed. Wherever you are in the world, wherever I am in the world, all is well. And as we support this community of love and light, this community that shares knowledge and acts with wisdom, we know that all is well. All is well. That all of our bills are paid, that all of our needs are met. And that is as much true for this center as it is for each one that is hearing these words. I place a blessing upon each one, that we move through these days gently, lovingly, powerfully, to be who we've come to be. And we complete this knowing by repeating these words together aloud. I freely and joyously give from the abundance and fullness of my overflowing wealth, knowing my gift goes with love as it touches and blesses the world. And so it is. You are blessed. You are loved. So keep going and let us know how you're doing. Thank you so much. God bless you. Have a wonderful week.